This lesson video will guide you in writing your body paragraphs for your argumentative essay in English 3. So far, you have gathered the information you need for your body paragraphs. This is on the charts you completed in previous steps. You've created your thesis statement, your claim. You've written your introductory paragraph. It's now time to write the 3 body paragraphs for your essay. You already have the evidence you need. You'll build the rest of your paragraphs with topic sentences, examples, analysis, transitions, and concluding sentences. Writing body paragraphs is a lot like putting together a puzzle, piece by piece, so that everything fits together. It's helpful to have open the model body paragraph example from your course. This is in the resource book for this step, and if you have them side by side, this presentation and the example, it'll be a little bit easier to follow. The structure of your argumentative essay will be, you'll have an introductory paragraph and you'll have a thesis or claim in it. You'll have one body paragraph that represents your viewpoint and supports support number 1 in your thesis, a second body paragraph which is your viewpoint and supports support number 2 that's in your thesis. But the third body paragraph is going to be a little bit different. You will represent the opposing viewpoint with examples and your rebuttal, and this presentation will walk you through that. Body paragraphs 1 and 2 follow this pattern. Topic sentence based on reason support in the thesis statement, introduction of the first example or support from the story, a quote, paraphrase, in-text citation. This could be more than one sentence. Your commentary or analysis of that first example, a transition and introduction to the second example or support, that evidence, that quote, paraphrase or summary, and in-text citation. This can be 2 to 3 sentences, and your commentary of this example, and you wrap it up with a concluding sentence, a summary sentence that connects back to the reason or support in the thesis statement or claim. Remember the thesis statement we've been working with. The topic has been banning texting while driving, and in the thesis statement video we looked at this very carefully. Although many people are against banning texting while driving, clearly this would be a good idea, particularly for young drivers due to the risk of losing so many lives and the high cost of accidents caused by texting while driving. We're going to focus in on that first reason, the risk of losing so many lives. We're going to create a topic sentence to support that. Texting while driving is a dangerous distraction that has cost many unnecessary lives and should therefore be addressed as the serious problem that it presents. There's that topic sentence again. But now we're going to look at the evidence we gathered. For you, it'll be the evidence in your charts. But for this model, here are the examples. There's a quote from an article from Newsday. Texting while driving has become a greater hazard than drinking and driving among teenagers who openly acknowledge sending and reading text messages while behind the wheel of a moving vehicle. And there's an in-text citation. The second example is actually 2 paraphrases from the same website. First paraphrase, as many as 40% of American teens admit to having been in cars where the drivers use their cell phones in ways that endangered their lives. Second one, text messaging increases driving risk 23 times over driving while not distracted. These examples go in the body paragraph with introductory information and commentary to create almost like a chunk of evidence. You'll see the example. Here's the quote with an introductory information and commentary. In her article Study, Texting While Driving Now Leading Cause of Death for Teen Drivers for Newsday, Dorothea Rick states that texting while driving has become a greater hazard than drinking and driving among teenagers who openly acknowledge sending and reading text messages while behind the wheel of a moving vehicle. Young people, often believing themselves to be invincible, are unaware of their dangerous behavior. As adults, we must be responsible for them as well as for other irresponsible adults who undertake such reckless behavior. Here's that chunk I was talking about. You've got introductory information before the quote. You see the quote there in quotation marks, and you have the analysis and commentary that the writer provided about it. Let's move to the second examples, the paraphrases that were from the website. Other statistics are staggering too. According to a Pew Research Center survey as reported on the Federal Communications Commission website, as many as 40% of American teens admit to having been in cars where the drivers used their cell phones in ways that endangered their lives. Also, according to the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, text messaging increases driving risk 23 times over driving while not distracted. These statistics are unacceptable. One life lost unnecessarily is one life too many. People must not bury their heads in the sand, but must take action to resolve this problem. There's the transition to the second example. There's the introduction to the paraphrasing, a transition to the second paraphrasing, and then the analysis and commentary. If we put all of this together, the topic sentence, the introduction to the first example, the commentary, introduction to second example, commentary, and a concluding sentence, we have a body paragraph. Let's look at it. Texting while driving is a dangerous distraction that has cost many unnecessary lives and should therefore be addressed as a serious problem that it presents. Topic sentence. And you should recognize this next chunk. Society should be very concerned about the problem of texting while driving, especially in reference to young drivers. In her article, Study, Texting While Driving, Now Leading Cause of Death for Teen Drivers for Newsday, Delthea Ricks states that texting while driving has become a greater hazard than drinking and driving among teenagers who openly acknowledge sending and reading text messages while behind the wheel of a moving vehicle. Young people, often believing themselves to be invincible, are unaware of their dangerous behavior. Adults must be responsible for them as well as for other irresponsible adults who undertake such reckless behavior. Other statistics are staggering too. According to a Pew Research Center survey as reported on the Federal Communications Commission website, as many as 40% of American teens admit to having been in cars where the drivers used their cell phones in ways that endangered their lives. Also, according to the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, text messaging increases driving risk 23 times over driving while not distracted. These statistics are unacceptable. One life lost unnecessarily is one life too many. People must not bury their heads in the sand, but must instead take action to resolve this problem. Whether texting and driving is banned or there is another answer, a solution to this loss of human lives must be found. And notice the concluding sentence went back to the topic sentence, the loss of lives. In this presentation, there is not an example of a second body paragraph, but in the resource book in your course, there is an example of a second body paragraph. It is put together exactly the same way as this body paragraph, and you can look at it and use it as a resource as well. We're going to move on to the third body paragraph because this is something new and different. In the third body paragraph, you address the opposing viewpoint. Remember setting up your thesis statement? You started with an opposing viewpoint before you put your viewpoint in. You're going to address that opposing viewpoint and rebut it and refute it. In this paragraph, you give your rebuttal, your refutation, and this is what it means. Rebuttal or refutation means you're going to address the opposing viewpoints, politely explain why they don't hold up and why your evidence and your argument is stronger. Body paragraph number 3, addressing the opposing viewpoint, is structured like the other two body paragraphs except for the content inside it. It will have a topic sentence. That topic sentence is going to be based on that opposing viewpoint. You're going to introduce a first example that supports that opposing viewpoint, but your commentary and analysis is going to offer your rebuttal, your refutation. You'll transition to the second example. You will offer the second commentary and analysis with your rebuttal and refutation, and then you have your closing sentence. And that summary sentence connects back to that opposing viewpoint in the thesis. Here's a model body paragraph number 3. Now this covers over 3 slides, so stay with me as I read this and look at the construction of this paragraph. The best solution to texting and driving would be to make it illegal. However, there are some people who are opposed to this idea. That's addressing the opposing argument. They may have some good reasons. For example, some people are worried about giving up more civil liberties. They worry more about government interference in our lives. That's an opposing viewpoint. And certainly, as much as people want the government involved as little as possible in their daily lives, when confronted with a going problem that is costing lives and dollars, it is necessary to examine this stance. There is a seatbelt law that protects drivers and passengers when the data showed that seatbelts save lives. Stringent laws and punishment for drinking and driving have been created in most states. In addition, most cities have banned smoking in public places and government buildings because secondary smoke is harmful to the public's health. Now, what the writer's doing is showing how some of these laws have helped. Now it's time to ban the new drinking and driving, texting while driving. Those who do not want a law banning texting while driving also claim that such a law is so difficult to enforce. There's the second opposing point. According to researcher Scott Adams of University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, it's different than drunk driving. Identifying intoxicated drivers is relatively easy. You can give somebody a breathalyzer. You can have checkpoints. But with texting, it's really hard for policemen to know if someone's been texting. This is certainly a valid point. However, banning texting while driving, making this dangerous action an illegal act, sends a clear message that people will not condone this negligent action, and just as drinking and driving became completely unacceptable, so too will texting while driving. Over time, most people will stop doing it. Over time, loss of life due to texting while driving will decrease, just as loss of life due to drinking and driving has declined. Though it is understandable that people have concerns about another law that regulates their lives, this law is a necessary one that people will not regret creating. Strong restatement of the claim. This third body paragraph was rather lengthy. The writer offered many extra sentences and explanations and added a lot of descriptive words and phrases. The way to add voice in your writing is to add descriptive words and phrases. Here's a simple example. This is the first sentence in the first body paragraph we read. Texting while driving is a dangerous distraction that has cost many unnecessary lives and should therefore be addressed as the serious problem that it presents. Without descriptors, that sentence would look like this. Texting while driving is a distraction that has cost lives and is a problem. Just simply adding a few adjectives, dangerous to distraction, unnecessary to lives, and serious to problem, helps enhance, improve, and expand the feeling tone of the writing. Your assignment for this step: you're going to build and write your 3 body paragraphs using the textual evidence charts you've created. Your introductory paragraph will also help guide you. Use the model body paragraph samples set up in the resource book in the course or in this presentation, and they'll help you get the structure of your body paragraphs together. The complete instructions are in the assignment for this step, and as always, your teacher is available if you need assistance.